Warning, warning, Wii U. If you're a big fan of RWBY and don't want to listen to people being rude about the show, you probably won't enjoy this podcast. Please don't make yourself suffer. You've been warned.
What a sweet release when you rest in peace.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to RWBY Slushy. It's me, Cube. I got Fiend here.
Hi.
But you know what? It's the end of season finale. I don't think that's enough people. We need a special guest. Who we got here?
Hi, it's me again. I'm back.
She's back.
Michael.
I've returned from the depths of hell.
So you see, it's important to understand Phoenix isn't the only person that I've forced to watch all of RWBY and gave the brain parasite of the RWBY. Corinth, tell us about your relationship with RWBY.
Yeah, I think when RWBY first came out, everyone online was talking about it, and they were like, "Oh, if you like anime, you should watch it." I was like, "Okay," and I watched episode 1, and I thought the animation was so ugly. I was like, "I'm never watching this again," and I just never watched it. And then years later, all of a sudden, I noticed that there's a whole Discord channel dedicated to specifically talking about RWBY. I was like, "Really?" Of all things, okay.
And now it's your favorite show, and you love it, right?
I guess you could say that, yeah.
A similar thing happened to me because I'd never seen it, but at some point after we set up the Discord, someone just mentioned RWBY, and Cube just went on a tear that set off a chat that lasted for like a day of people just talking about, hey, but what about when this happened, and what about that, and what about that?
I went to bed and came back, and people were still talking about it. It wasn't just me.
Everyone was fascinated by the show, but also couldn't shut up about it, so a few people messaged me as one of the mods to ask, like, hey, can you do something about the people who won't shut up about RWBY?
Can you do something about it?
Yeah.
And now it's a conversation that instead of lasting for a day has lasted like 2.5 years.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Excellent. So we also wanted to bring Corinth on because when you came back, our prodigal daughter, into the darkness of the RWBY chat,
Yes.
it was interesting because you were watching this season more casually than we were as insane people. And it was interesting to me the way that you seem to be like, I don't know what's going on with this and this. And I'm like, oh God, it probably is like that for a normal viewer. So I just wanted you to talk about your experience watching this season in general.
This season, well, honestly, I think this season is kind of hard for me to understand, mostly just because I wasn't paying attention during Volume 7 with the whole conflict with Ironwood. And, like, once they introduced, like, the whole communications tower, my brain just turned off. I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm just gonna keep watching. And, like, during quarantine, I was like, you know what? I'll rewatch Volume 7 so I can finally understand what's going on. I still don't know what's going on.
Well, okay, so what do you think Ironwood wants to do?
Okay, in my mind, he wants to take the floaty part and put it into space to escape Salem is what I think, right? And that's all like the rich people, and Nora was like, you can't do that. And also there's like a communication tower. I'm not sure how that plays into the thing. But there's a tower, and then in Volume 8 they split up because one half wants to help the faunus, and then the other half is like, we have to get the tower.
No, this is...
It's really funny because there's two very important floating structures that they want to move to space, but they're kind of completely unrelated to each other.
Okay, I was thinking they were because they're brought up together all the time, and it's like the point of contention. And I'm like, what is the difference?
The trouble with both of the plans, or all of the plans that have been presented, is that, like, I think this might be the reason that you might have been struggling to understand what the hell they were trying to do, is that both plans don't make any sense.
Yeah.
Both plans don't make any sense and are also, like, doomed. The viewer knows they're doomed to fail because we know what Team RWBY knows. Or, in the case of Atlas can go and live in space, we know that doesn't really make a lot of sense, just in general.
Yeah, it's like, so completely unrelatedly, they wanted to get Amity Tower up to reestablish cell phones across the entire world. Mm-hmm. And that just took general technology, but then later they also wanted to move Atlas to space. And for both of them, the idea is to escape Salem somehow by being in space.
I also am confused by Salem in general. I think the one big episode in Volume 6 where they were explaining, I've seen it like 3 times and I still don't know what's going on.
Correct.
Again, I'm just like, okay, so I don't understand what the point of the relics is. I don't know why Osmond has to keep reincarnating. I don't know. I don't know what Salem wants. I just know that she's evil and they have to stop her.
I mean, I think that's all they want you to think about it. I think they don't want you to think about it past that.
Yeah, no,
Because
totally.
like they established, they're like, oh, she can't be stopped. I'm like, okay, well then what do we do? Like and then Team Ruby's like, we gotta try. I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work. I'm just sitting here. I'm like, I don't know what's going on.
That's the worst thing about when they make villains like this, where it's like, they can't be stopped, there's nothing we can do. And then, like, you have a main character who just sort of, all they say is, we've got to try, but then never do anything.
And you know she's going to be right.
Yeah,
Somehow.
Well, of course, but, like, this episode really does highlight how, like, Ruby is just becoming capable of making decisions. She just never chooses to do anything. She just sort of stands around and stuff happens, and then she can react to that. I'm getting so tired of it.
You're getting ahead of us. Oh, wait, Corinth, have you listened to the 6.5 slushy?
Yes, I did today. Yes.
Yeah, because that's the thing is, I've never been less happy to be right, I don't think. Because the whole thing about Salem just wanting to die, now apparently I was right. I'm not happy about it, though. It's really... she just wants to die.
just let her pass away.
It's all she wants. Slay Queen.
It's just weird to me that they push that, and they keep trying to push the fact that she's like a 100% villain who is cruel. It just seems weird. Like, if your mission was to destroy everything so that you could finally leave this planet, it seems a little unnecessary to be so cruel and evil.
Yeah.
For fun.
Yeah.
Just for kicks, to be like... I feel like with a character like that, you'd imagine they'd be a lot more, like, depressed. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she dipped herself in the Grim pool and was overcome with pure evil.
Right. She fell in the oozy jacuzzi.
Yeah, but then she also just sat in a cabin for 1,000 years. So, I don't know, man.
I guess.
Yeah, it's like, why does she suddenly feel so gung-ho now to die again?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, but we want to we'll talk about the episode?
Yeah.
Because now we're starting to get spoilers.
Yeah.
So, Chapter 7, War.
Oh, God.
Sunset over Mistral. Oh, God, it's coming. All the Grim are coming. And here's all the troops that we've been wondering where the fuck they are. They're here now.
Yeah, we're on the farmland, and the Grim are charging over the farmland at just a big line of troops and paladins, those big robots from, like, Season 2. We finally see them again.
All these land troops were just on Atlas this entire time?
They were vibing. You know what was funny to me was like that one single shot where the soldier is like shaking and he's like nervous. I was like, yo, whoever put that in was really proud of themselves, I have a feeling. They were like, this is an important detail that establishes the emotion of the soldier on the battlefield.
I really want to know, like, what are these, like, they can't be hunters, right? So where do they train them? Are they trained to fight Grim at all? What is their role in this world?
Shoot, pew, pew at the...
And there's the giant battleships, and they're still doing nothing.
Pew, pew.
I've mentioned this before, but it still bugs me the way that, like, the whole world's meant to be set up for defending against Grim. And then, like, okay, well, there's a big Grim attack. What do? We just go stand in a field. There's no defensive structures. There's no trenches. There's no turrets. It's just stand in a line, wait for the Grim to hit us.
Well, look, they thought they'd be fine because they were in the sky, so why would you ever want to fight Grim on land? Except then why do they have all these land troops up here?
I also fucking love how apparently Atlas is full of dads who insist on following through with the family outing despite, like, the weather. Or the fact that there's a war on.
Oh my god, the picnickers.
So weird.
Yeah. It cuts to people, the civilians in the city just hanging out, like having picnics. And it's like...
It's been days, at least, since the whale showed up.
It's been a while. Like, they've been evacuating Mantle, that was happening, and the whale's been visible. But everyone's still just like, oh, yeah, no, nice day to go out.
And I love that they focus on the one, like, background NPC with such a distracting outfit. I couldn't stop looking at his, like, weird hat and vest. I was like, is this one of those, like, Rooster Teeth employee cameos?
Yeah. Because he was really weirdly focused on.
Yeah, that's what I felt like, too. I was like, okay. It's just, like, that's the thing. Like, when I watch RWBY, I just, like, all the weird small things I focus in on instead of the importance of the plot. I'm just like, who is this man?
I mean, he was very focus-onable.
The weird little things are good too, though, because that's like, this is the joy of RWBY, is that there's just so many weird little things happening. It's such a weird show.
That's why I get so excited.
Yeah, this is weird people having a fucking picnic. And then the girl looks like a young teen, but she's like, "Daddy, look!" And it's fucking monsters. And I'm like, what is wrong with you, child?
They're all rich people, like Weiss. They're like, Father, look at
Daddy, I want a Grimby.
It also kills me that like we don't see any of that battle. Because it's just like everyone standing in a line, all the Grim running at them, and bullets going everywhere. And we don't see a Grim die or anyone get killed. It just cuts away. It's like, yeah, cool.
Look, cutting away works better than the Wormy boys from last episode.
Where are the Wormy boys now?
Well, that's the thing, because Ironwood says to put everyone in the subway, which the idea of a subway on a floating city seems inherently funny to me. But a guy tries to stop him. He's like, "But sir," and Ironwood's like, "Just do it." And I want to believe that he was going to say like, "But sir, the Wormy boys, they'll get him."
From this point, the episode sort of splits into 3 storylines. So we're gonna, rather than jumping back and forth, we're going to talk about them one by one.
Yes.
Okay.
The first storyline we wanted to talk about was Oscar, and Ozpin and Hazel, and basically everything that's happening on the whale.
Oh, Oscar.
I wish that I had recorded myself watching this episode, because I was like sitting in my bed watching it on my phone, and when they cut to blood dripping down, I was like screaming. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
Oscar has not suffered enough. God
No
damn it.
more. I get it. Stop it.
Yeah, I don't care anymore now. It's just silly.
I'm like, oh my fucking. At this point, I'm just interested in seeing how far they're gonna go. It's like.
He's gonna get like hostile. He's gonna start like scooping his eyeballs out.
Yeah, cutting off fingers. Just.
Yeah, so for the listeners, Oscar is hanging from a meat hook with like his hands tied above it, and it's very clear that Hazel's just been punching him around. And at one point, he punches him, and Oscar's just like swinging around, and it was way too unintentionally funny for me.
Also, just that the whale has meat hooks. Because everything else so far has been like something that like you would see inside a whale. Like I don't know. I'm so curious about how this whale works.
Like he's very helpful. Oh, but before we see Oscar, we see Salem, who's being very embarrassing because she's like conducting the Grim.
Yeah.
Very extra.
She's doing some like Tai Chi aerobics.
Oh, she's like Grim bending.
Yeah. But like the really bad bending from the movie, like.
One Grim comes out.
But it's also while classical music plays, just like with fucking Watts in the election, when he like swiped
Yeah.
when he swiped all his iPhones and yeah.
He got it from his mama. Oh, no. And then Emerald's looking on like, God, that's fucking embarrassing. I better get out of here.
Emerald's sneaking around the place, like, and hiding from one of those ball octopus boys, whatever they are.
I don't understand that at all, because like she sees it and she seems shocked by the sight of it, and then she, I guess, uses her semblance on it to hide. And then I guess it forgets about her or whatever. But it's like, what is... But then she just continues walking around the facility. It's not like she was sneaking out. I don't understand.
Weird. I can't believe how much I don't care about Emerald at all. It's like every time she appears, I'm just like... It's same
Just
with...
turn.
It's just same. It's the same with Cinder. I'm like, honestly, I thought she defected from Salem in like Volume 6. I didn't think she would come back. And now that she's back, she's like, wow, this sure does suck. I'm like, then fucking leave. I don't know why you're still here.
No one's having a good time here.
This is the trouble with putting benching a character like in season 3 and not making them do anything relevant until season 8. Like,
yeah, they've just been sitting at home for so long, and then they're like, we need to do something in the plot, right?
but yeah, she's oh, sorry, you go.
No, I was just commenting on her hair and it made me mad. I was watching it.
Like, yeah, when she's watching that ship go off and you're just watching her jelly hair flop around, and it's like, why?
It was unfortunate.
Why this?
Sorry.
But yeah, but she does go to spy on this very important conversation between Oscar and Hazel.
So I've complained before about how Hazel's this ridiculous character with silly motivations who just likes punching children. But he's actually able to hold conversations the last 2 eps, and it's really weird. I don't like...
No one's tried asking him how he feels yet.
Which is what happens here, is that Oscar asks him, like, Hazel says something about how, like, him and Salem share a vision of a world with no huntsman academies.
Yeah, she's going to do a new world order, which seems to be, like, Mercury very casually dropped that as the thing that he thought Salem was doing in like season 6. And I guess that's it's very missable because it's something that he says when he's talking about how his dad stole his semblance and all this other shit. But it's the only time any of them have ever really brought up what the fuck they think she wants. So I think this revelation, this episode, is supposed to come as a big twist. It's like, what? She doesn't want to control the world? But like, we've never seen her even say that that's what she wants or imply that's what she wants. So it's a very weird twist. It's like they all just assumed something.
I'm also just confused by the idea that it's like, we're not going to have Huntston academies anymore. It's like, well, they do serve a purpose in this world. Someone has to fight Grimm. Like, I don't know, man.
Well, maybe in her new world order, Grimm just run this shit or whatever.
Oh, they're just friendly. Okay.
So you don't need... Well, I mean, she does control them, so theoretically if she was controlling the world, she probably could make Grimm play nice.
True.
The joke's on you.
Anyway, yeah, Ozpin drops Salem's actual motivation, according to him, which is that she wants to die. Turns out Cube was right.
Yay!
Yeah, okay, so at least according to Ozpin for now in this episode, I was right. I don't feel good about it. It's really weird that she just wants to die and suddenly just wants to die after all this time and just whatever. I don't like it. Not happy. Unhappy. And it's still like, because it's Ozpin saying it, like he's the number one character that they love to have drop exposition and then retcon it. So I'm like, do I even believe you?
We shall see.
Well, it's funny that we're all kind of in Hazel's position where he's like, I've learnt not to believe you. And the viewers are like, yeah, us too.
Yeah.
Same boy.
Same here.
Yeah, and it's like the fucking book that they released where it says that she wants to be the Dark Queen, and now they're gonna be like, well, that was part of our master plan to deceive you. Ooh.
It's so incredible to me at this point that this show has been going on for so long, and yet, like, with every new episode, there's like more shit that contradicts other things. It's like, how on earth do you make a show for this long and still fuck up every time there's a new episode? Like, how does that happen? It's so fascinating to me.
No other bad show would be this consistently fucking wild.
That's why it's so entertaining. Like, that's why I get so excited for a new episode, because I'm like, what fucking wild shit am I going to watch this week? And then I'm constantly surprised by more wild shit.
It's just funny because, like, normally when you do a big retcon to, like, a character, like, say, your villain's motivation or whatever, it's because, like, we had to do more seasons, so we have to stretch things out and change something or something. But, like, this keeps happening even though they don't establish stuff. Like, it just sort of, it happens casually with every single part of the world. They'll just go and, now it's this now, now it's that now. And half the time it really does feel like it's just because they forgot what they said before.
How does that happen?
It's like we never had any expectations for you to subvert because you never thought it was important to tell us what the main bad guy was doing or what we were supposed to think she was doing or what the main characters think that they're stopping her from doing.
Yeah.
You never talked about it.
Why don't they, like, they should just have, like, a bunch of Post-its that have important information on it. Just keep it up at the office so everybody can see it, so everybody remembers. I think I remember one of you saying, like, previously, like, it just feels like each writer is writing differently than the previous. Like, there's no link. Like, some of them don't know. Yeah, I'm like, how does that happen? It's so weird.
It's funny you say that because I was talking about how it felt like they don't have script supervisors or like, like a script editor, someone who gives them feedback and stuff.
I know what you're going to say.
It turns out it's Eddie. Eddie is the script supervisor at...
Really?
Yeah, that's his job title at Rooster Teeth.
Wow.
He's in charge of the ship, our boy.
He's the one, between him and Kerry, they're the two that are supposed to be making sure everything's consistent.
No.
Oy.
Get someone else. Get an outside person, please.
I do think it's interesting that Salem's plan comes down to the specific wording from V6 episode 3.
That pisses me off because it's very much like the writers being like, "See, we put those words in there. Aren't we clever?" Because like Ozpin's quoting it directly, but obviously Hazel hasn't seen that flashback.
He's a Rooster Teeth first.
He doesn't know what Ozpin is quoting.
Yeah, and he explains that, she thinks that maybe if everyone dies, she'll die too. And Hazel's like, well, I don't believe you. And that's fair.
I do like how Ozpin, because he's such a piece of shit, he makes it all about how like it's all Salem's fault. She tricked you, she manipulated you. You know, like obviously you were powerless because of that fucking woman. Just like that time that I tried to take over the world and do a bunch of horrible things, but it was just because of Salem. It's not my fault.
She's the poison that infected my
Femme fatale.
my heart, and now I'm evil too, but not for long. I'm good now. Don't worry about it.
It was also funny to me that like Hazel talks about when he first met Salem, she let him kill her a bunch of times, and she kept coming back
What?
to life. Yeah, he says that.
When did he say that?
He says he did it over and over and she kept coming back.
What?
Yeah.
Hazel said that this episode, yeah.
Okay, like that's another thing. Like when this scene happened, I was so blown away by Oscar swinging around that I was not listening to what they were saying.
Look, it's a very dense material. There's just so much to take.
I just kept looking at his beaten face.
But yeah, I want to see that. I want to see Salem just being like, yeah, try that. Oh, I'm sure it'll work. Oh, look, I'm back, fucker.
This is a Kiersey and Miles episode. I fucking hate their dialogue. Because, like, Hazel...
Yeah.
This conversation, Hazel says, you know, like, when I realized I couldn't kill her, she told me that if we worked together, I could get the vengeance I needed. And then Oscar goes on to say, like it's a revelation. Don't you see? It didn't help you. You were just acting selfishly. And it's like, yeah, but Hazel pretty much just said that. Like, it's so weird to see a character stating their motivation aloud like that, especially when it's like an irrational motivation.
Yeah, I just wanted vengeance. Have you ever thought that vengeance is selfish?
Whoa.
And Hazel's like,
yeah.
Slow down there.
They're so bad at like trying to weave subtext into dialogue. They just have people say what they're thinking.
oh God, I can't wait till we talk about the Ren thing.
This is like unrelated, but I wanted to bring it up. I don't know if anyone noticed, but like I kept looking at Oscar's face, like when he was moving his face around, I guess. At one point he like looked up, and I don't know how they do the shadows on the noses. Like, you know that like weird little dot they have to like show like, oh, the nose is here. Like,
Yeah.
It was really weird seeing him like move his nose up, and there was like the shadow over top of the dot, and it confused me so much. I was like, wait, then where's the bottom of... See, again, I'm only looking at...
No, this is good. This is good.
I'm like, where the fuck is the bottom of his nose?
I hate RWBY faces so much because like
It's weird. Yeah.
They're so janky.
they're so big and flat and smooth. And then like the other day
Yeah.
when we had that weird shot of Robin lying down talking, like Q pointed out.
with their nose up?
Yeah, we saw her nose from like directly underneath, and it just looks so stupid. Just this weird little triangle.
It was in the thumbnail, actually, for 6.5 that came out today. I kept looking at Cinder's neck from the side, and I was just like, ugh. And it hurts because, like, I was recently rewatching Land of the Lustrous, because I know that obviously, you know, big difference in terms of, like, budget and professionalism or whatever, but I just kept thinking, I was like... it just made me sad. Like the characters would like turn sideways, and it wouldn't make me angry. I was like, it's possible.
Yeah, their necks are all so weird and like get bigger as they slope down and smaller as they touch the head. And it's like, that's not even like an anime thing. Why?
Yeah, it's just weird. I don't know what it is. It looks like the side of like a dog's face or something, where it like slopes down instead of like cuts off. I don't know. I'm just like, this is weird.
I'm really noticing the stupid difference between the hair texturing and the shading on the rest of the face or the rest of the body.
Yeah, why is their hair soft shaded? I don't understand.
Looks like Play-Doh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I can only assume it's because if they try to do the cell shading on their hair, it looks even worse. Like it chops in weird places and stuff because the hair.
I have trouble believing that.
I could see that. I don't know anything about 3D modeling, so I took like one class and I did a shit job. So I'm just looking at this and I'm like, I could never do this, but like, I don't like to look at it.
No, yeah, it's like I'm not saying I could do better,
Yeah.
but I'm saying I don't think they did great.
Something is
Yeah.
off here. That's like I was watching a video about the production of Land of the Lustrous, and they were talking about how like whenever there was a weird face, they would get an artist to do a 2D draw over so that the 3D
Yeah.
artist could go back and fix it so it didn't look so weird. I was like, could you imagine if they did that for RWBY? Oh my god. That would be so cool.
No, it would. And I definitely feel like as much as like, you know, they have limited budgeting and all that sort of stuff, there's still like, they've been running in Maya for like 5 seasons now. They've had plenty of time to try and make these models look less jank. Like,
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. When you go back to volume 4 and 5, these models are better.
you think?
Ow, wait, what?
Yeah, like the way that the face shading works and the way that the shoulders connect and stuff. Ever since they updated at least like the main characters models, they are better than the 4 through 6 ones. And the way that a lot of the shading and stuff works is
Oh,
better.
in volume 7. Okay, I thought you were saying the ones in volume 4 look better than now. I was like, wait. Huh?
No,
Okay.
opposite.
That makes
And
sense.
it's like that's why I keep forgetting that the show still looks so bad, because I'll be like, wow, it still does look better, and then someone else will see the newer seasons and be like, that looks like shit. And I'm like, oh yeah, it still looks bad though. Oh no.
At this point, I think the only sort of semi-interesting thing happens, which is that Oscar takes over and just tells Hazel the password.
I like it.
Good for him.
And there's a question left. And he's like, look, I want you to verify this for yourself. You know, if you don't believe me, ask Jean.
I like that Oscar is smarter than Ozpin.
Yes, I'm enjoying. You know, obviously I'm getting sick of seeing them get slapped around, but I did remember enjoying the part where Oscar is like, I was a part of the team. I'm my own boy. I want to be my own boy. I was like, good for you.
Yeah.
So like now
Fuck you, Ozpin.
seeing him like take advantage of this horrible situation he is in and still being at least attempting to like, you know, take control. Seeing him be like, fuck you, Ozpin, I'm gonna tell this man this thing. I was like, okay, he's still a good boy in there somewhere. Just please get him out of here so he can stop getting slapped around, please. I don't want to see it anymore.
And it's also like, it's something that doesn't happen much in RWBY, which is like, you gave a character an interesting choice to make, and now they've got to think about something.
Yeah.
As much as this version of Hazel has existed for 2 episodes, like the one who isn't just shove dust in arm and scream, this Hazel does seem like he'd be open to learning new things. And so, it's interesting.
But someone else might learn those new things, though. Because oh wait, before we move on to who was listening to them, fucking, it's still funny to me though that they pointed out how Oscar now has most of Ozpin's magic.
Does he?
Why doesn't he use any of that to like heal or anything? Yeah, Ozpin's
What?
like, you're gaining control of most of my magic.
Okay.
But he doesn't do anything with it or use it to escape or anything.
I don't even know if he knows how to do it yet. Has he done anything with it yet?
The end of last season, where he makes like the
Right.
Steven Universe bubble, had to be magic or just
Steven
a
Universe
continuity problem.
Steven Universe.
You can't make a shield. yet.
I'm pretty sure it's a Steven Universe
Yeah,
bubble. I think that's what they were watching. But yeah, so it's like, just like Ozpin casually drops like, oh yeah, you have a lot of magic now, but we're not going to use it.
If they have been watching Steven Universe, that explains why he's suffering so much this season.
Oh no, and that's why Ironwood's going to get redeemed.
I have not seen Steven Universe Future, so.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
Don't-
It's-
Oh, that's a whole other bucket of fish.
Oh boy,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, that's what I've
Yeah.
heard.
We don't need to think about that. I'm looking away from it.
Yeah.
I'm turning away from it. But the thing is, emeralds. Look at emeralds
Oh,
now.
emerald. Oh my
Behold
God,
her. She's
emeralds.
beautiful.
Wow.
And with her jellies.
Yes.
Anyway, Emerald heard all of this. I will love it if Hazel gets this interesting choice to make and then it just gets taken away by Emerald asking the question instead.
But isn't it also interesting if emeralds maybe does something?
Let her do something. She has fucking nothing to do. I mean, granted, I don't care, but like, I don't know. Give her some purpose for existing, at least.
I want her to ask Jin, does Cinder care about me? And Jin's like, no.
That would be like pure comedy. Like the fact that she had not picked up on that for the past like 5 seasons is incredible to me.
And then she's just like so fucking shook.
She's like, what? But how could this be?
This is one of those things where the writers don't talk to each other because, like, we've had so many scenes
Yep.
where Cinder just shits on her and she just keeps going, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yep.
Yeah, that's why I liked when Mercury was like, she doesn't care about you. And she's like,
What? What do you mean? What? Why would you say that?
But speaking of Mercury,
He's here.
Yeah.
He's here. He's packing up his duffel bag. He's going on an adventure. He's going on a trip.
I love it. I love that him and Tyrion are just like, see you next season.
I felt so bad for Mercury. I can imagine him being like, do I fucking have to go with this guy, please?
I kind of like it because like Mercury is kind of a doucher, especially lately, and so like the idea of him just like having to hang out with Tyrion and Tyrion just makes him very uncomfortable. I don't know. I'm okay with it, especially because Tyrion, Mercury's like we don't need to believe him. Well, maybe he's lying about how Salem just wants to die. I bet she wants to take over the world, and Tyrion's like, what do you fucking talk about? Of course she wants to destroy the world, you dumb kids.
I can't believe I'm saying this, but I love Tyrion so much at this point. Like,
he's the only person here who knows what's up.
yeah. That's and he's the only person having any fun. Like, he's just. I know he's gross.
Yeah, there's nothing hypocritical about what he's doing. He has an ethos and he's sticking to it.
Yeah.
He's like the only consistent one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sort of funny that like Hazel, it seems like he was told that Cinder wants to take over the world. Mercury might have just assumed, but Tyrion knows that that's not the case, and she wants to destroy everything. And it's like it's fine if he just tells people that.
This is what happens when you assume. Yeah. They just fucking assumed she wanted to rule the world, but they made the wrong assumption about what big villains do. It's the other thing. It's destroy the world. Oops.
Yeah, and it's just funny that like Emerald tells him this, and he's like, nah, whatever. But then Tyrion says, oh no, it's totally true. And Mercury's like, oh, well, if Tyrion said it, then I guess it's true.
He's too weird to lie.
As he gets shoved in the spaceship for the fucking world's worst road trip, he like looks back at Emerald and like gives her the go ahead to do something. I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't read that expression because he was like,
It's like a little nod.
like good luck, bitch. But yeah, they're just going to Vacuo. See you next season.
Yay.
This takes the air out of this whole battle. I said it last time, but if like we know that next season or whatever they're just going to Vacuo.
Yeah, the scene was just for you.
Yeah, whatever happens this season, well, the story's going to continue. So it just kind of it just doesn't seem as apocalyptic as I think it's meant to. Because like, well, there's going to be more of it. It's going to be in desert land where I'm sure it's going to get even more racist. So like, yeah.
Oh man, gonna be something. And we get to see both the other big teams again. There's gonna be so many fucking characters.
Oh,
Big
God.
empty desert to run around in.
But hey, at least that should save some time and budget on backgrounds.
That's true.
The entire time they're just running around in a big red zone.
Oh, and as Mercury and Tyrion are leaving, there's a gorilla spying on them. It's like hanging on the ceiling, a flying gorilla, and he's like looking at him. And I'm like, why?
I don't know. We'll see.
Why are the gorillas spies now?
I like that like Emerald was hiding from the floaty orb boy. She turned visible again once like it was behind her, but I don't know why she assumes that thing can only see in one direction.
I was like, can it not hear her walking away? It seemed kind of weird that she wouldn't stay invisible till like
It's
long
like
after.
If she just walked by it, that would be the least suspicious thing she could do.
Yeah.
It's true. Not really sure why she's sneaking around either.
Yeah, doesn't she
Yeah.
live here? And then also like
Yeah.
the fact that of all the things that you could use to spy on people in this place, a fucking gorilla, like the biggest crim, he's just hanging off the roof. No one sees it.
Look, they're chilling.
Stealth
They're
monkey.
ready. I love the monkeys. All right, well that was in the whale zone.
Yeah. Okay, second zone is on the ship where like we were laughing about this in between podcasts when we saw the thumbnail for this episode come out, but like so at the end of the last episode, Jorn and Ren and Yang are hanging out in the tundra trying to warn everyone that the attack's about to start, and then the Aesops find them. And we were laughing about the idea that like despite the fact that the whale is attacking Atlas and the apocalypse has started, the Aesops are just going to arrest these 4 kids or 3 kids. And it turns out that's what they did.
Hell yeah, they did.
Fiend, they are a major danger to all of
They're
Atlas.
terrorists and traitors. Even though they don't belong to this country, they're traitors.
They're Oh, you're so right. Holy shit. I forgot Harriet is like, they're traitors. I'm like,
Yeah, of who?
They never swore allegiance. I don't know where that came from.
Traitors to our friendship. I mean, I don't believe in friendship, but
Did you not listen to the soundtrack for the last season?
they screwed you in the perfect way. A friend betrayed. And also, I'm so mad that they arrested them off screen because I really wanted a scene where Marrow just uses stay on all three of them.
But they can't do it.
Would have been the best.
They're not allowed to do it. They know they can't do it.
They can't do that.
Yeah, so it's like, did they even fight, or were they just like, okay, I guess we're under arrest?
What also kills me is that they got sent out there to find Penny. And they didn't find Penny, but they're flying home to fucking drop these teenagers off.
And considering what happens later, what were they even doing out there? Why did they think were they just fucking flying around seeing if they happen to spot Penny in the tundra?
Yeah, just cruising around, just looking.
They suck so much.
I mean, that's where you would that's where you would expect her to end up, as opposed to where she actually ended up, which we'll get to later. But
That's true.
It's true.
Yeah.
That would be much more reasonable. But yeah, it's just like, what were you all even doing? And I do like that, like, especially Phoenix likes to go look at the Reddit and see what the kids are talking about. And it does seem like they all are sick of the Aesop shit.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe they'll feel differently after this episode. That was so cathartic.
Yeah, no, I was. They posted there usually be a little thread where they post the thumbnail and the name of the episode in the description. And it was mostly people dunking on the Aesops for just being so fucking useless.
They're just so stupid.
Yeah.
But they're to show the emotional turmoil of working under Ironwood and the struggle of putting your job before your emotions and what can happen to.
It's just so morally gray.
That's the thing that kills me. Like, that's what this chunk of the episode ends up being about, is like, how do you deal with your emotions versus doing your job? Not the question of, should you keep working for a fascist? like that sort of doesn't really come up. Like, that he's a psychopath who just shoots people in the face now.
Also, before they talk about him, as they're going, so they all fly in and they see the big Grim, and John's like, that's where they took Oscar. And Vine is like, Grim don't take prisoners. And it's like, did you all miss the part where there's an ancient immortal witch here? I don't understand what your expectations are.
Cube, there's no such thing as magic.
No.
They know there's such a thing as magic now. They canonically know there's such a thing as magic. They know about the maiden. They know Penny's a maiden. They've gotten 2 separate television PSAs about magic.
But Cube, have you ever seen anyone turn into a bird?
That's still really weird to think about, because it's like maidens are supposed to have all the magic, but can they turn people into birds? Like, that's very different from what we've seen magic do on screen.
There's just lots of different types of magic in this show, but none of them are magic, except for the birds. We do finally get like a tiny line about what the ships have been doing here, or at least like why the ships haven't been doing anything. Which is, you hear one of the ship commanders. Someone asks about the whale, and one of them says, "We've been shooting it with missiles and bombs. We can't penetrate it." So it's like
they were totally trying to fight it off screen. We promise.
Yeah, I all that implies to me is that like they shot at it a few times, it did nothing, and they were like, just wait, like until the attack started.
Yeah, because they do, like, we see the big battleships again during the big battle section. They're just sitting there still. They're not doing anything.
They just hang out. They hang out in a circle.
Are we supposed to believe they're doing things?
I don't know, man.
I don't understand.
So in Amity Arena, which I consider canon.
The game?
Yeah, the game.
Phoenix has been playing the game.
I got it, but like it's still on my phone. I played it for like maybe 30 minutes. Now I don't touch it anymore.
That's fair. It's basically a ripoff of Clash Royale, which I played a lot of
I see.
back in the day, and it's kind of, since I started playing that again, it's sort of scratching an old itch. Mm-hmm. It's a lot better put together than I was expecting, considering the last RWBY game I saw was fucking Grim Eclipse.
Yeah, there's a weird amount of polish.
Yeah. I assume it's because it's like outsourced to a company that actually knows what they're doing, but
Yeah.
it's the ships are a unit, but they don't shoot anything. They just drop off like shitty robots to go and attack stuff. That's all they do.
What's foretold?
Yeah.
This whole scene is going to be about our boy Ren and all of his many feelings about various things.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
So
No.
so they have a plan. The Atlas military's new plan for the whale is they're going to place a big bomb somewhere near it, and the ASOPs are going to run it inside and then run out again and wait for it to explode.
Yeah, I don't understand this idea of why do they have to bring the bomb in on foot?
Throw it in there. It opens its mouth pretty frequently. Just like shoot it in there.
Oh, and they also have airships. Just bring it in one of the ships.
Like you're playing mini golf. You're just getting the timing right before you fire it off.
Hell yeah.
Hole in one.
You get a free ball then.
Did it.
But then it's also like, but like, how is a bomb like handheld size? What is this bomb?
I don't know,
man.
fucking
And then
know.
later they say they're gonna drop the payload, and I'm like, what the fuck? Did you not decide what kind of bomb it was in your script?
I mean, Ironwood didn't tell her. She was just like, it's a bomb. So he's like, well, I don't know what that could mean, but I'm assuming.
We're gonna run it in or drop it or whatever the fuck.
Touchdown.
I'll figure it out when I
shit.
get there.
So there's a bunch of arguments that take place here. So first of all, JYR is what's do we have a team?
Jury.
Jury.
I call him jury.
Jury.
Yeah,
Okay,
Jerry,
jury.
okay.
Yeah, jury are first of all saying they can't do this because it would kill Oscar.
Which, like, fuck off, by the
Yeah,
way.
yeah, no. It becomes this stupid argument where it's like they're saying no, we can't let a friend die, and the other guys are saying no, like it's gonna kill everyone. We have to stop it. Like your one friend is more valuable than everyone else who might die. But no one ever brings up the fact that the one person you're talking about this time is fucking Osborn. Like he is more significant in some ways than just like one dude. But no one ever actually says that. So yeah.
Well, I mean, he can't. He also can't die though.
Well, I mean, I suppose.
But when they want to go in and save Oscar, Elm is like, "That's bad math. 3 is worth more than 1. You shouldn't sacrifice your 3 to save the 1." And it's like, this isn't what is important. Like, there must be hundreds and hundreds of soldiers dying down there, but they aren't named characters, so fucking whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I thought too. When he was like 3-1, like it took me a second to realize what 3 he was talking about. I was like, I assumed that his argument was going to be like, oh, it's one person and we're going to save everybody if we do this. But I guess, I don't know. I was confused.
Yeah, they really just want to save Oscar.
What sucks as well is that what John proposes is that we run in and do like a test run for you guys dropping off the bomb. We'll go in first, scope it out, and while we're there, we'll try and rescue Oscar.
But they're traitors.
But then everyone's going, no, that's stupid. That's what is
That's when she does the 3 versus 1 thing.
yeah. We don't let feelings get in the way of making the right call. But it's like,
Oh yeah.
but it's like what John's proposed makes a lot of sense. That's a really good plan.
Yeah.
It's very practical.
Because, like, I mean, they hate jury anyway, so I don't see why
Yeah,
it
it's
would
like,
be an
hey,
issue.
don't go in and get yourself killed, kids, you fucking traitors.
Yeah, they have nothing to lose here, and they're like, oh no, they try to keep reframing the argument around feelings versus following orders. When like there's like 2 different arguments here, and neither of them are that. It's so fucking annoying.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, Harriet, the character that doesn't let her emotions cloud her judgment, as we've seen.
Just one thing quickly before we move on. I'm tired of John making good plans and being sensible. I don't. It's very strange. I was saying before, if you had told me 4 seasons ago that my favorite characters would be Jon and Tyrion, I would have punched you in the face. But I'm so confused.
Most reasonable people in a few seasons are going to be Jon and
Oh
Tyrion.
my god.
The least stupid characters.
Yeah, the Jon was going to be one of the least stupid characters in the entire cast. Was going to make the most sense.
He's really done a 180. I'm proud of him.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah, he really is your fan art now that you drew, where he's just like this golden boy, all shiny,
Yeah, I'm
he's like SpongeBob SquarePants.
Yes, that's how. Honestly, that's what I was thinking of when I was drawing him. I was like, this is what, like, because. Like I when he got his haircut, I was thinking like, oh, he's gonna be like a Boy Scout now. I kind of like that. Like, I no more like emo man pain punching walls. I'm like, please, Anything
he had
but
to
that.
exercise his parademons with that dumbass scene, but now he's free.
Yes, I was so happy to see him take a back seat and just have like one line every so often. I'm like, see, this is what it always should have been. I don't know what they were thinking. I guess Miles just wanted more screen time. I don't know, but I'm just so glad now.
I do wonder if, like, at a certain point there was just so much backlash against Jorn that, like, Miles either took a back seat or was made to take a back seat in terms of making Jorn so central.
Well, that happened in like 4 and 5, and like he got so embarrassed that he stopped writing scenes for John. But then they put that whole fucking thing in volume 6 where they made it all about him. That Pyrrha died, and her ghost mom visits him, and it's
but that still happened. But like, do you remember the scene where he almost punches Oscar in season?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you remember how that Rooster Teeth on their official channel put out a video with Miles called "Why Jorn's Anger Was Justified"?
What?
Justifying John's anger. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it was just so.
It's so important.
But it was so clear that like Miles was kind of taking this personally. Everyone criticizing and shitting on Jorn.
Yeah, and I also wondered if, like, because other writers finally came on, maybe they were like, "Isn't it better if John is just like this?"
Yeah.
And it's like,
Can
fine.
we just, slide him back there. I don't think he needs to be up here. I think.
But yeah, he's good now.
We're done.
He's good now. Like it.
Yeah.
I mean, part of the problem is that like too many of the other characters don't make any sense.
Yeah, like when he's with Ren and John, it's pretty easy to be the reasonable. I mean, Ren and Yang, it's pretty easy to be the reasonable one.
Yeah.
True. I don't know what the fuck is going on with Yang this season.
Oh, she's so frustrating. Like,
I have no idea what's happening.
I
with
think
her.
she's mad because she has no place in the plot, and she's very confused as to what to do with herself.
I think she's doing is she doing like a Nora from Volume 7 where she's like, I am the one who's making the statements for the people.
Yeah.
Now.
I don't even know.
that's kind of been her role, is just to be the loud, angry one, to yell stuff.
I'm upset about this.
Yeah.
And I may be gay, possibly.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Didn't Blake say something about like worrying about?
No, Yang said something about worrying about Blake. Blake hasn't done any Bumblebee service this season. She doesn't give a fuck.
I could have sworn in this episode she had a line being like, I hope they're all okay. And in my mind, I was like, is she only thinking about Yang or like...
Yeah, see, when Yang's only worried about Blake, but Blake's just like, oh, I hope your sister is okay.
Like when she says, if you're worried, like the last episode where she said, if you're worried about Yang, you can call her. I haven't. Like,
yeah, you can call her. And she's over there with Weiss like, hey girl. But anyways, Ren, what's most important is Ren, and it's time for him to come to the culmination of his character arc. So as you recall, he's being a big whiny baby, and then last time we saw him, he was sulking out in the snow, and now it's time for him to have a big revelation. It's all gonna come together into the perfect climax. He says, they're like, fuck Oscar, don't save him, and then Ren's like, no one is replaceable. And that's his big moment that he had it.
I love his voice acting. It's just so good. I'm so excited. I've been forcing my boyfriend to watch it with me, and he hasn't seen this episode yet. But when I was making him watch, I think Volume 5 and 6, every time Ren spoke, he would look at me and be like, I fucking hate his voice. I can't stand it. It's so bad. I'm like,
I know they wanted to be nice and give it to Monty's brother. I understand he's not a voice actor, but like, the way that no one is replaceable is delivered with no emphasis whatsoever is so like, did no one even tell you this was supposed to be an important scene? Because he's like, at first he's like, no one is replaceable. I don't understand.
The worst thing is, like, there was a meme popped up.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, which was Ren saying, no one is replaceable. And then it was, like, Ren's voice casting for seasons 1 to 3, and then from seasons 4 onwards.
Oh, God, yeah.
Like, I'm glad I'm not the only one who thought of that when he said that. Like, the first thing I thought was like, oh, was this like a thing about Monty? And then I was like, wait a minute, if it is, then what the fuck is he doing saying that? I'm confused.
Yeah, because he replaced Monty. It's very strange.
Yeah.
He's making an argument for why he never should have taken over voice acting. You should have just killed my character off.
Hey.
But wait, but as he says that, what does it do?
before we get into this is again one of these things with the shitty dialogue where like, which this happens a lot when anyone argues in this show, particularly in the last 2 seasons. They say lines back and forth that represent their positions, but the lines don't connect with each other.
Yes, that's the most Kiersey dialogue.
Yeah. Like, so Elm says, trading 3 lives for 1 is stupid. And then Ren says, it's not stupid. He's our friend. That's not an argument for why it's not stupid. That's just
No,
what
it
you
is,
think.
because friendship is important.
Feelings, emotions.
Yeah, and Harriet's like, look, someone dies, you just replace them. Just like we replaced Tortuga, just like we replaced fucking Clover. I'm fine with that. It's fine. But it turns out she's not fine.
And how do we know?
She might not be fine at all.
How do we know she's not fine? How does Ren realize that she's not fine?
Okay, so here, this is a good question. Corinth, what were you under the impression Ren's semblance was before this season?
See, I remember Nora's very weird, stupid line from, I think, Volume 5, where she's like, he can mask emotions. And I was like, what does that mean?
Yeah,
I was like,
so he can make people invisible to Grimm by making it so they can't detect their emotions, which also makes you gray.
Okay, that's what I figured. Because, like, I remember when he was hanging off the cliff, he was able to, like, make the Grimm fly through him or something. Yeah. And that's why I was confused with this new thing. I was like, how does this connect to the previous? I was like, he's like a mood ring now. He can like tell you colors.
I understand they're related because they're both about emotions, but going from I can make us kind of invisible to Grimm by hiding our emotions to I'm a full-on telepath now, it seems like a leap.
I can reveal emotions now.
What happens visually is we get to see everything from Ren's perspective, which, by the way, so Ren apparently sees everything in black and white.
He's like a dog.
Yeah,
he's got dog vision.
But also when Harriet speaks while we're in Ren vision, her voice is really echoey and bad. So it's like, does Ren have hearing issues?
I don't think that's properly diegetic. I think that's like representative of his.
I know, but like it's so funny the idea that he hears badly as well. Like he hears badly, he sees badly, but what he can see is
I don't care about
No wonder he's so grumpy all the time. He can't fucking understand what anybody's saying.
That's why he speaks so quietly. He's making up for the fact that like he can't control his inside voice.
But anyway, he sees petals swirling around people that indicate what their emotions are. And so from this he's able to deduce that, Harriet is actually really angry about Clover dying, and she does have emotions. And that now and this is the thing, right? What this magic power that he has that lets him see emotions tells him is that Helm and Harriet are angry, Vine is calm, and Marrow is sad. And I'm just like, did you need a magic power to be able to deduce that?
Okay, that, yes. But also he seems to know all these details about like exactly what they're feeling and about what. Because he's like, you're mad specifically about the fact that Clover died. So, can he just see emotions, or is he properly telepathic? Is this just bad dialogue, or is this an indication of what he can actually pick up on?
When I was watching it, I was like, he's like a fucking therapist now. He's just telling you he's like telling them how they feel.
Yeah.
He's like, you're upset because XYZ.
Look, I know writers who use subtext, and they're cowards.
It's the most absurd scene. He just walks around saying, oh, you feel this, and you feel this. But also, obviously they felt that. They're such, like, one-dimensional characters. This is the only emotion. The emotions they're having in this scene are the only emotions they've had all season. Is Marrow is sad.
Especially having him tell Marrow that he's conflicted. It's like, what?
Really? Oh my god. You don't say.
Well, Winter feels conflicted too? I don't understand.
What about all those longing gazes she was giving out the window thinking about, while Ironwood was shooting people? Was that not enough for me to deduce that?
It's you introduced this absurd power, used it in an incredibly unsubtle way, and told us stuff we already knew. Like, it's just, what a scene. Anyway, Winter agrees they're going to go in and and bomber thing.
But also, real quick, he sees pink petals for himself, and I was wondering, like, I think maybe that's actually supposed to connect back to Nora, because so
Yeah.
far, like, none of his shit this season has connected back to Nora. But the problem is that his color is also pink sometimes,
Yeah.
so it's very unclear.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about Nora. Is this the petal from the opening that like falls onto his hand? Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah. Imagery.
Oh my god, the subtlety, the nuance.
So yeah, they have to save Oscar. It's the most important thing. Third time's the charm.
Oh, you like, pointed out like nothing but L's. So, no, hang on. There's one thing we missed in this scene.
Oh fuck.
In this scene, they canonize the Aesops lost against RWBY because they had different emotions.
Oh my god, fuck that.
No, I wrote down the line. That's why you lost against Team RWBY. You tried to fight how you feel about each other, so you'll never work as a team.
What the fuck does that mean? What?
You all want to be a polycule, but you're suppressing.
What the fuck does that mean?
Yeah, just like shut the fuck up.
I'm like,
my
shut the fuck up
God.
at the writers, because like that is the shittiest excuse for why Team RWBY were able to beat these trained soldiers, because that has never made sense. And the idea is, it's because they were having different emotions. It's like, you fuck, shut up.
It was like cut to episode 3 last volume where they were all like having fun together, shooting the shit, bullying each other. Why didn't you do both these things?
No, remember the line where I don't know, I think Ruby said it in volume 7 where she was like, your biggest mistake was you trade us. And then they started like
It kills me that also like, oh yeah, no, they don't work together as a team, and it's like, oh, because obviously RWBY were all on the same page. The second that fight was over,
Oops.
all of Team RWBY is fighting with each other. So, well, at least, Yang's fighting with everyone else, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I just, that's such a fucking.
Wait, you know what the
Dumb
Aesops didn't trust love.
Oh.
Really makes you tapping my forehead.
Oh.
This is just such a piss weak excuse to get around that we needed them to win, because that's all it really comes down to, is the main characters had to win, and we've never really come up with a good reason for why they did.
And I think they're trying to create like some symmetry there with like, Ren isn't in touch with his emotions. That's what John said his issue was. And so he's like got to recognize it in the Aesops, and then that's how he can recognize it in himself. But it just doesn't work.
Well, it's just dumb.
It's just weird.
Yeah, it's
This
just
is dumb.
it's just dumb, and it's like now like they're going to rescue Oscar this time because now Ren's over his angry man feels that he borrowed from Jorn, and they'll work together as a team. And blah, blah, blah.
He's
blah.
going to fight Salem and be like, I can sense that you're unhappy. And Salem's going to be like,
Oh my
what?
god, no. If that happens, I'll be so mad. If he starts being Salem's therapist at the last second, I'm going to be so fucking mad.
It'll be so good. And then he'll be like, Salem, you have to keep moving forward.
No!
I'm going to be so mad. No. Cube, you can't say these things because then they'll come true.
Hey, by the way, have we talked on the podcast ever about Indomitable?
No, but I just learned of it today in the Discord, and I was like, it surprised me the fact that it happened in Volume 6. I was like, there's still? I mean, I guess I don't know if that's insensitive, but I was like, I don't know.
It is weird. Like, so it's a Monty tribute song, but also the Volume 4 opening was a Monty tribute song. Also, Cold was a Monty tribute song, and it starts to feel a little weird, especially for. So for people who don't know, Indomitable is the song that they play when RWBY uses her silver eyes at the end of Volume 6, where it goes, there's a light that shines, and its power is mine. And if you listen to the whole song, it's a song about how Monty was a god who created a beautiful world, and then he died but left them the power to, and now the power is theirs to continue to create the world. It's extremely fucking cursed to me.
It just feels their relationship with their friend and everything. That's a whole thing. But when you make your third song about this topic, at a certain point, it just start to feel like we're trying to make excuses for why it's okay for us to keep making this show.
That's what it felt like to me.
Like, the thing is, My City now.
I think mostly just because the Volume 4 opening is such like an obvious, send off the fact that you would make 2 more.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, and like the fact that like those songs just get thrown in at like random moments in the plot, and it's like, but also this song is about my dead friend, and it's like this is all very strange.
Yeah. Fans keep doing fan art where there's like all the girls are hugging Monty, or Monty is like standing above the world with his arms open. And it's like, guys, stop! This is bad.
I feel like I've said this in a podcast somewhere before, but if I ever die, no one is allowed to fucking draw me with my characters like I'm an angel over them or whatever. I'll kill you.
Too bad, Cube.
I'll return from death and destroy you.
Now that you said it, it's done. I'm gonna write it down so that I do.
No, you will poop on my grave with the most tasteful angelic art of me.
That song, Indomitable, if you had no context for it, you would think it's Christian rock.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
it sounds very Christian rock.
Yeah. There's a light that shines and the power is mine. And like,
Oh no.
Yeah, it's
Unfortunate.
someone came down and died and left the world to us. Like, come on,
Oh
man.
my god, no.
Monty is Jesus. But like, but for his like wonderful gift to be fucking
Ruby.
Yeah, I know. This terrible
he's like
fucking
Jesus,
show.
but it's a bad anime that we won't stop making.
What if Jesus was crucified over a really bad anime he made?
Anyways.
So the third part of this
yeah,
episode.
this is very important.
This is the dumbest part of this episode by far. It's also the shortest, but it's probably going to take us the longest to talk
so
about.
the apocalypse is happening. You know, everyone's being attacked by Grimm. Everybody's dying. So what should Team RWBY be doing in such a situation?
Drinking some tea. Relaxing.
Fucking drinking some tea at home and being like,
Relaxing.
man, sure looks like they're having a bad time out there. I wonder if we should like fucking do something.
I cannot stop looking at Nora like under that really shitty looking like pre-rendered blanket or whatever and thinking like, man, is she gonna be like, I kept thinking, I was like, man, I really hope she's just gonna be out of commission for the rest of the volume, thus invalidating her weirdly long screen time in the opening. And like, that would be so funny if that were to happen. I know it won't, but like,
In that case, she had an arc that started and ended in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's all you get this season. And I love that she's in like those really shitty random bandages. And at some point, Weiss is like, I've done all I can, but she needs a doctor. And I'm like, Weiss, you're not a very good nurse. You fucking blew it.
Just randomly attached bandages. There's also just something like, okay, we to be fair, we don't know exactly how much time there has been, but the fact that like the battle is taking place and Ruby and Blake come in with tea and they're just sort of looking out the window and Ruby's looking into her tea going, how did it get to this? And it's just,
Yeah, how'd it get to be this way?
what are you doing? Go and do something.
Especially because later they make it clear that they think that they're the only people that can do anything about this because they're main characters.
Yeah.
And so it's like, man, everyone's useless. We're the only ones who can save the day. Maybe I should fucking do that. I don't know.
Sip.
Blake, I can't believe so many people are dying outside right now because of us. I can't believe that this is happening.
Yeah.
What are we supposed to do?
Sips tea.
Let's drink
It's
some tea first. Yeah. Let me get some tea
It's so
first.
fucking wild.
Yeah. So anyway, ostensibly they're waiting to get word on what everyone else is up to. I feel like you could make a guess, but anyway.
Yeah, Phoenix, you have to talk about this next part.
Okay. So May comes in and says, "We haven't heard from anyone. We can't raise them. We don't know what they're doing. Let's get in the ship and go back to Mantle." And Weiss says, "But we can't leave." And this is the other scene that has like a really annoying argument that has like 3 levels to it, and it's kind of hard to pull apart.
Yeah, everyone's wrong, but for the wrong reason.
Yeah. So May makes the point that Mantle has no defenders, and right now it's chaos down there, whereas Atlas has an entire army. And so she's saying we should obviously go and help Mantle. Now, like, take all of the assumptions in an argument, I feel like that's a very fair statement to make. That, like, Atlas has an army, Mantle has none, we're all that can defend it, we should go and help those people who have no defenses.
But one, like, they just said that the army's useless. 2, the whale is making all the Grimm, and so the idea that Team RWBY's like, we need to go fight the whale, that's not just gonna help Atlas. This is the final boss. You gotta fight the final boss, save everybody.
Yeah.
I don't
That's...
understand.
Yeah, like, well, it's like, on the one hand, it's clear who they should be helping if that was true, but yeah, the argument in reality is that attacking the whale will help everyone. But no one just says, yeah, but all the Grimm are coming from the whale. That's where everything's coming from. We should go and attack the whale. They say, we want to help everyone, so we should all work together. And
Both sides.
yeah, we like
Work together to do what, though?
this is the third problem with the argument is that RWBY has no ideas. Like, they never suggest what it is they want to actually do. They just want to help everyone in a general sense.
We all have to work together, quote unquote.
Take that argument, we should all work together, as read right now. Does that mean that they like, whoever is left in Mantle who can fight should go and fight the whale? Like, and Mantle should just have no protection whatsoever?
I don't know, because again, like, what is it even? Like, if you went down and helped Mantle, you're just like, okay, I'm just going to help Mantle. I mean, you're just going to keep fighting in Infinite Grimm, and then eventually you're going to get overrun and you're fucked. Like,
Yeah.
What's the long-term plan there?
That's assuming that these three kids would make any difference. Like, I know that this is like a meta thing, but like, there's no reason to think that what these three do will make a massive difference if they go and fight the whale. Whereas, like, if there's people down in Mantle that need defending, they should go and do that. But unfortunately, because they're the main characters, it does really matter what they do, even though it really shouldn't, you know?
Yeah.
Ugh.
But what's one part of a May's reason for why people in Atlas don't fuck them?
Right, okay, so this is interesting. We actually get something canon for once.
Yeah.
Yeah, Weiss says, don't you have family here? And May goes on to explain that her family did not accept the fact that she was trans, so fuck them. Whereas Mantle accepted her with open arms, so she wants to go
Wait,
fight
but
for
that's
them.
the thing. She says that when she chose Mantle over Atlas, they lost their son. You know, so she does reveal that she's trans canonically in the show. But we don't actually know that it was about her being trans, because it sounds like that they were like, "What, you moved down there? Fuck you."
I think
I read it that way.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't know. I thought it was implicit, the suggestion that when she says they lost their son, that was the way they considered her.
But then she's like, you know, they had Henry and Weiss. Your people have Whitley, and obviously Weiss isn't trans.
No, but that's I think that just means they've got the bit of the family they wanted. I think
Maybe.
that's the only way you can really read that. I guess, like, props to them for actually putting it on the page in a way where it did feel like it didn't feel completely shoehorned.
Yeah, and it didn't involve like Henry coming in and misgendering her or something.
Yeah. She got to she got to tell them herself as part of making an argument, and that's good. And good on them for not like taking 8 seasons to have someone be gay. For once.
What are you even talking about? I don't know what you're referring to. Yeah, just hopefully it doesn't. I kind of hope that's the only time it comes up. You know,
Me too.
And that they don't
Me
like
too.
make a weirder thing about it
Yeah,
later.
yeah.
It's very, like...
Maybe it's because it's Kiersey, I don't know, but this has been handled okay in the end, it turns out, which I'm actually kind of surprised. I still think making her semblance invisibility might have been a bad call.
And also, like, part of the problem is, like, okay, so I understand why she resents her family. That's understandable. But then it becomes a thing where the other characters have to call her out because both sides.
Yeah, well,
and you're wrong. And it's like, no.
But, like, her argument is Mantle has no defenders, Atlas has tons, we should go help Mantle. And when they're still, like, when Team RWBY is still going, no, she says, whose side are you on? And Blake says, we've heard that before.
You're just like Ironwood.
Blake equating saying Mantle has no defenders, we should go help it, with Ironwood abandoning Mantle is such a shitty move. Like,
That's very Blake, though, right? She's the fucking worst. Yeah, Atlas didn't do this. We did this.
Oh, fuck this.
yeah. It's just, it's such a fucking, yeah.
It's just like a mess. It's like, it just felt weird to me that Weiss was like, but what about Atlas? I was like, Weiss. I don't know. It just
She's
felt
like,
weird.
people live here too.
I'm like, it just felt weird to me after May is explicitly like, they fucking hated me because they're transphobes and also rich and bad.
Yeah.
And Weiss is like, but what about them? I'm like, Weiss, please shut the fuck up.
And also, like, but May makes, I mean, there's no reason May would, you wouldn't have thought May would know she was doing this, but when she said they have Henry and your family's got Whitley, she's drawing a parallel to the fact that Weiss was abandoned by her family as well. Like, Weiss has every reason in the world to hate Atlas.
No, Whitley's her family, her good family. They just have to come back together and understand each other again. She understands, she trusts love on a subliminal level. Deep in her kokoro.
The way this particular scene ends is great because RWBY's still blah, blah, blahing about fucking, we don't want to help everyone, all lives matter. And May says, okay, well, what do you want to do? Silence, end of scene. Because
no, yeah, she says like we can't save everyone. You have to pick a side, so pick or whatever.
that's in the next scene. But in this one, she just says, "What do you want to do?"
Okay.
And goes to silence. Then when we finally come back to them at the end of the episode, once again, she says, "Not everyone can win right now. This is a shitty situation. You can't just hope for the best outcome and say you want to help everyone. I can either take you with me back to Mantle, or I can drop you with the front lines if you want to help Atlas. But you have to choose."
No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Wrong. Go. Main character's making choices. That's too scary. So it's time for some visitors.
Yeah.
It's time for. You guys can talk about the first person who knocks on their door, and I'll just like put my head in my hands and hide.
Cool. Who's at the door? Someone knocks. Who's at the door?
It's our best friend. It's Klein from forever ago. Honestly, when I saw the silhouette, I was like, "Is it fucking Roman?" Because I saw them.
I thought the same thing because it's like it's a man wearing a bowler hat.
He's got a bowler cap.
Yeah.
God. I see. I'd been spoiled on the fact that he came back because I'd talked about how much I didn't want to see him, and so like, luckily I didn't have that.
I was like so unreasonably excited, and then I was like, "It's fucking Klein."
Yeah.
The worst bait and switch.
What I liked was that because the way the bowler hat looks, because it's just like a round top and the little bits coming out the side, there were multiple people in the chat who thought it was Shrek. That was just his little antenna.
Oh yeah, they were joking about his swan.
Yeah. But yeah, Klein's here.
Yeah, he's here. It turns out that he's been a proper MD this entire time, and because Nora needs a doctor, and he's a doctor conveniently.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Turns out he was just working as a butler because he liked it, I guess.
Good for him.
And he's here. He does his thing where his eyes change color, and so does his personality.
Get the fuck out of here. That's gonna be really like. I would not trust that person to like operate on a loved one. He's gonna be like, which one of these is useful as a doctor? Is he gonna keep switching into like kooky guy? And it's like,
Wait though. Isn't one of the 7 dwarves named Doc?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that
I
make
think
him a
that might be
doctor?
how they got the idea.
Oh fuck. Oh no. You might be right.
But that means only one of the 7 is going to be
no.
qualified to help this girl.
You have a 1 in 7
They
chance.
just hope he can stay the doctor for long enough to help save Nora.
That's gonna be the best episode. The tension there.
What I love is that, like, while we were reading about Klein in the chat, someone pulled up the RWBY wiki, which again, not an official source. It's all written by fans. But the person in the RWBY wiki seemed to imply that they thought that his semblance was just eye color changing and that he was putting on the personalities. Like it was all an act.
Yeah, just for shit.
Yeah.
What? Okay.
Which is just such a funny idea.
Cool semblance.
Yeah, I like that they were trying to convince themselves of that. My semblance is I don't ever need colored contacts. I'm cool.
Anyway, so the reason he's here is because Whitley called him. Which, again, like...
Oh yeah, reconciliation.
Whitley's had his redemption arc and Weiss gives him a hug. I said this to Q before, I don't think Weiss's model was ever rigged properly to smile. Because when she smiles, it looks real weird.
Maybe she's like, is this what we're doing here? Is Whitley supposed to be redeemed now? Okay, I guess. I fucking guess. I guess there's bigger things to worry about.
I can't get over how Whitley has looked exactly the same since he was first introduced, like with the shitty
fucking
chopstick
model.
legs and his weird shoulders. It looks so bad compared to all the new models for everyone else.
Yeah.
It's like, where did he walk in from? It's just so weird.
Him and the texture on the stairs have not been updated since season 4.
Oh god. And it still kills me that like her mom is still just here off screen, doesn't matter as a character, but we have to fucking reconcile with Whitley.
Yeah.
Fuck the abused wife lady, we don't care.
Also that, like, Weiss didn't call for help or whatever. Like, why was it up to Whitley to fucking call a doctor?
Good point. Weiss literally is like, we need a doctor, and then proceeds to talk to RWBY instead of calling
I
a
guess
doctor.
all the doctors have been evacuated to the subway tonight.
I guess
But Klein was like, I don't know. Klein, we don't care if Klein lives or dies, so we
he
can
was
call
he
him.
was watching from the window waiting. He was like trying to
Hey, my purple eyes are the stalker ones. And no one remembered in the end that Whitley helped commit inheritance fraud to take away her inheritance. No one cares. Doesn't matter.
Loving the pots in the background, though. Looking real good.
Looking very 3D.
Everything in this room is shaded wrong compared to everyone else. Like, it's really...
There's so much of that this season.
Yeah.
Before the next thing that at some point we forgot to mention that they're like, hey, we can save the day. We just have to go get Crow and Robin.
Oh my God, I was so mad at that.
And then May's like, Crow and Robin can't save the day, like, which like should be correct. I don't know if it will be because it's RWBY, but I mean, strong argumentation.
Part of me is like wondering if, as much as I feel like it's been badly handled, I do feel like maybe RWBY's arc this season is meant to be she's become very unsure of herself and can't make decisions. Because so she's always, she just wants to she wants to help everyone, but she doesn't know how. She hasn't got any ideas. She's looking for other people to make the decisions. Like, we could go and get Crow and Robin and they could tell us what to do.
It makes it sound like that's the only reason they would want to save Crow.
Well, it's also that she's only just remembered as opposed to when they were in Atlas, in the prison, and didn't go and get him in that other episode.
I was so mad when she was like, we can go get Crow and Robin. I was like, okay, well, were you just thinking about them in the back of your mind this whole time and how they could be in trouble?
May should have been like, you missed your fucking chance there. We were there before. You didn't fucking care. Maybe we could have gotten them then if you gave a fuck.
I mean, of course, like, my brain was kicking in and being like, well, I don't know. Maybe she thought it was more important to try to help everybody. But I'm like, she's not fucking doing anything right now.
No.
Yeah, she's been sipping fucking tea.
And she never says that either. Like, if you wanted to do that, then have them just fucking say it. And they don't. They never do.
And what's weird is, like, Kiersey wrote both these episodes. She wrote the one where RWBY first finds out where Crow is, and she wrote this one. So how did she not see that this was an issue?
You can miss little things from time to time, I guess. It's just that RWBY does it all the time. Anyway, I mean, yeah, it might turn out that May's meant to be wrong here, but like you say, what May said makes a lot of sense.
No, she's absolutely supposed to be wrong, because, like, the way that they very much stress, like, no, we don't need to choose a side. We all have to come together. It's the only way. That's going to be correct, and May's going to be wrong for caring about the oppressed class and not also the oppressors.
Yeah. But it just, her argument makes so much sense.
Is that it doesn't again. Like, on one level, it makes sense in a way that they don't recognize, but on another sense, it makes no sense in a way that they don't recognize.
Not her entire argument, but like the thing she's saying right now. The thing she says about how this is a fuck situation. We can't help everyone. This isn't a situation where everything works out. You have to make some choices.
Is everything going to work out?
Well, the key thing is we're building up to a moment when RWBY needs to make a fucking choice.
Okay.
And what happens?
So it turns out that falling takes a really long time in RWBY universe. It's because there's a different gravity, you see. So the terminal velocity of a penny is actually, like, quite slow compared to what you would think.
Gravity dust.
And she falls and makes a big crater, and they're like, oh, hey, it's Penny. She's here now after a day of falling. And Penny's like, sorry about something. And she has green eyes, but she's covered in green Mountain Dew blood, and I don't know what the fuck is supposed to have happened there.
Penny lands outside and makes a crater right outside Schnee Manor. Now RWBY does not need to make a decision. They can just react to this.
Fuck yeah.
I cannot fucking
Yeah,
stand
now Cinder's
it.
gonna show up, and Ruby's gonna get to fight her, and she's not gonna have to make any fucking choices.
She just never makes choices.
You're making me realize this is like, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, you're so right. Like, when is she ever gonna? And it's funny how over the course of this season, it's always been like, RWBY, you can't save everybody. RWBY, literally, the situation sucks. You can't save everybody, but you gotta do something. You can't, and like, it's just a repetitive thing.
Yeah.
Through this whole season, it's just being like, this is a shitty situation. What are we going to do? And RWBY's like, we gotta come together, and we gotta save everyone. We have to. And they're like, RWBY, we can't do that.
Yeah.
And it's but hey, joke's on you. It turns out that by sitting at home, she was able to unlock the next important plot point in her journey.
Yeah, like
Good for her.
this is why we had this absurd scene where they were standing around watching the war happen and not doing anything. Was because they needed to be here when Penny fell down.
Pro gamer strats, she knew.
Yeah, she was camping. It's just like,
He's speedrunning.
this is so shit. This is the thing we talked about before with like proactive characters versus reactive characters. Like a proactive character who drives the story. In this, and it was the same in season 7. RWBY does not drive the story at all. She never makes decisions. The start of season 7 was her not making a decision. Like the only decision she made was don't tell Ironwood one specific bit of information, and then just sort of go along with whatever he was doing. Then at the end of the season, she doesn't make a decision. She's made no decisions this season. She just reacts to the stuff that's happening around her. To the point where she stood around waiting for something else to happen.
She just gives speeches now.
Yeah.
She just tells people speeches.
Yeah, she just gives anime speeches. Like right back at the start of season 6 when they're on that train and the hunter gets killed. They're like, RWBY, what do we do? And she says, don't let anyone else die. And it's like, that's not a plan. That's just a fucking speech. Like that's just a cool anime thing to say.
I have a plan. I'm going to swing my scythe, and then it's going to hit the monster, and then it'll be defeated.
See, that's the thing. Like, I remember scrolling through comments on someone's fan art or something, and they were like, I love how Ruby's become such a great leader over the course of the story. She has so much heart. And I'm like, when?
Yeah, when? When has she ever
I
done?
remember thinking, I'm like, when has she ever? I guess, like, people like to point to volume 6, I guess, where she's like,
Where she does the light that shines and its power is light.
It's like, I just feel like you're right. You know, things happen to her.
Yeah.
She never is like, all right, it's time to do a thing. It's more like, this thing happened, so now we have to do the thing, the thing that keeps people from dying, because after volume 3, it became a thing for me to make sure no one else dies, because that's my character. It's like, RWBY!
But she doesn't do anything to make sure no one else dies. She sit around.
What's great is that the one decision she makes in season 6 is to steal the fucking plane.
Oh my god.
But even that was John's idea. Even that wasn't her fucking idea.
The only thing she does is the thing that almost gets everyone killed, and then when they clean up their own mess, like sort of, actually Cordovan does, but beside the point, when she does anything at all, they're like, oh, RWBY, you saved the day from your own fucking problem.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
and
thing.
Cordovan
Like,
gives her the big back pat.
like people are like, oh, they've come so far. Again, like when Yang was arguing with Ren, and he's like, we made everything worse, or like something to that point.
Yeah.
And I was like, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I love how he's completely over that line of argumentation now.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter.
Because everything Yang said was wrong. All of the stuff that she was touting is like, look at all the stuff we did. We defeated the Leviathan. No, Cordovan did. We saved Haven. No, all of Fauna's kind did. You guys haven't done shit.
And it's like, oh man, maybe Ren is going to have to make a hard choice based on the fact that he disagrees with them on this moral argument. Just kidding.
Nope.
They all have the same goal now, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Nope.
When they're all in the room with Nora and talking about what they should do, fucking Weiss says, so what do we do? Just wait here for someone to show up and save us? Who would show up even? Or whatever. It's like, yeah, good fucking question. What the fuck are you doing?
Maybe you should have thought about
Why
that
do you
before
think
you pinned everything on putting out a fucking broadcast.
How fast can people get here from vacuum?
And when she said that, the first thing I thought, I was like, okay, so in like the finale, everyone's gonna show up, and it's gonna be like, we did it!
Yeah, it's gonna be-
Sun is here!
It's good. Yeah, Sun's here.
God.
That's the thing. It's gonna be like, okay, Raven, Sun,
Oobleck.
Taiyang, Oobleck.
No.
We're gonna have a handful of new hunters, and they're gonna save the day because they've had speaking lines before. I assume.
It'll be like, oh, here's all the adult hunters that exist. There's 5 of them. There's where they were.
What makes me the most upset is that like the fans are totally gonna eat it up when it happens.
Yeah,
And
oh,
they're like,
yeah.
oh my god, they're all back.
Oh,
I'll be
hell
like,
yeah.
But guys,
Linda's back. Look at her titty window. It's so good.
The other thing that kills me is I think they put a line in there to try and circumvent this, but when RWBY is staring at the battlefield going, wow, that's a ton of Grim. If only someone had a weapon that could incapacitate a ton of Grim that they could use at will. If only someone had that ability, maybe in this fucking room. Like,
Yeah, but then she's like, it's even bigger than a Leviathan.
it's like, who cares about the fucking whale? If you can just unce with your fucking eyes, that would help a lot of people right now.
But she can't when it would be helpful to do so.
No.
It's like last time when she tried to do it on the elephants, and then she was like, not feeling it.
I was thinking the other day, I was like, I can't believe that we spent seasons 4 through 7 trying to get this one thing, only for them to lose it at like the last second
Yeah.
of Volume 7. And that's all I could think about throughout Volume 8. I'm like, this all happened because Neo fucking...
Neo came and nicked it, yeah.
the lamp fell out. Yeah, I was like... It feels, you know what? It reminds me of in like the Pokemon anime. I don't remember what season, but like Ash makes it all the way. He makes it all the way to the finals, only to lose in the first round. And it's like, what was all this development for? Like development in big quotations there, but like was all of this for fucking nothing?
Yeah.
And Yang is like, we beat the Leviathan and we got the lamp, and then Ren's like, well, we fucking lost the lamp. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
Yeah, how can you even fucking say we got the lamp to Atlas when you know you got it stolen by the big bad?
Oh my god.
You got it here specifically to put it in the fucking vault where it'd be protected, and you didn't put it in the fucking vault,
didn't.
and then you gave it to the weakest fighter on your team. That was their big fucking plan. That was the excuse for everything they did wrong in Volume 6, was that, oh, we got it to Atlas, and now we just lost it again.
And also, it's canonical that Salem is literally only here because they came here. They actually like are the reason that she came and is killing everyone right now.
How are they so bad at this? I can't with this.
Ruby is fucking horrible as a team. They've ruined everything.
By the laws of anime, they should be like god level at this point. And they keep trying to drop these hints that like, oh man, they're so much better than they were before. Like beating the Aesops, which is like such an ass pull. Defeating, big quotations, defeating the Leviathan. It's like, wow, they're so strong now. Only like for these tiny things to come along and be like, well, actually, everything is worse now, and none of those meant anything.
And it's like, what did they even accomplish by beating the Aesops?
Nothing. The Aesops are still walking around and fighting them. Like
They were in a different place than jail.
they just lost in a fight to the Aesops earlier this season when they got stuck behind a door. They're so fucking bad at this.
That's still really amazing to me that Nora's like big moment that's gonna like put her out for the rest of the season was versus a door. Awesome.
It's one of those things where, like, you know, like fans of the series would be like, well, see, like, Ren was sort of meant to have some of a point. It's meant to be a point that maybe they don't know what they're doing. But it's like, I don't think they're meant to be as fucked as they are. I don't think that the writers intended for them to be as bad at this and to have ruined everything as comprehensively as they have. There's no fucking way they're meant to be this wrong.
They're not supposed to be canonically responsible for thousands of deaths, but they are.
They are.
Look, everyone's Po Buddy's nerfed.
It's also just this is so meandering and boring. Like I was saying last week, like about how we just know they're going to Vacuo after this.
This isn't boring, Phoenix. I'm not fucking bored. This is a fucking fever dream. This is a nightmare.
Okay, on that level, but I mean in terms of like you two were actually trying to follow this story. Like,
Yeah.
they're just wandering from place to place, fucking it up, and then like that's just ever since season 3.
You know, Corinth was talking about how she only got that much, and I feel like you can enjoy these seasons better if you only pick up that much. Because, like, the most, like, it's like, okay, Ironwood has some kind of plan and Ruby doesn't like it. Okay, that's cool. That's all you need to know. And it's better if you don't know what his actual plan is. It's also fucking stupid.
But it's also it's just slow. Do you know what I mean? In terms of what is actually happening, in terms of like the beats, in terms of the way the story twists, this is such a fucking slow series.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but then it's like, but then also everything happens at once. You know, like they stood around in Atlas for a season, and then the final boss showed up, and like now stuff's happening, but not because of anything that they actually did.
No, but it's also like I think it feels like stuff happens quickly because almost nothing happens in so many episodes. Like, so it feels like it's a lot, but it's actually like not that much. I don't know, man.
The entire season is the end of season 2 when like Coffee shows up and saves the day. It's that. It's like we didn't do anything, and then suddenly, whoa, a lot of exciting stuff's happening. It's over.
Yeah, that's exactly the same. Yeah. I was even thinking about how like season 7 was a bit like season 2 in that there was this huge incursion into Beacon, and then it's like, it's fine. Like the like how the White Fang like broke all the way into the city, unleashed all this grim, and everyone's just sort of like, yeah, well, you know, shit happens.
But then later in Volume 3, we were supposed to believe it was a big deal that made everyone feel really bad and made them susceptible to grim. It's the fucking same.
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same.
It's Volume 3, but more.
Yeah. It's Volume 2 and 3 again, which is especially galling because it's like, okay, well then we've seen this before, so we're just going to do Volume 2 and 3 again, and then we're going to go to Vacuo. Yay.
awesome. It's the best
What a
show. Penny even gonna be a Red Eyes evil fight, Ruby? She fucking better.
Ruby's gonna be like, Penny, I know you're still in there.
Yeah.
Come out.
Yeah, I want her to be like, I'm sorry, Ruby, and then be like, I'm like,
It's so fucking predictable. Like this, I was saying this to Q before. RWBY is a show where you know everything that's going to happen, but it happens for the stupidest fucking reason. Like that's what this show is.
But what led you to saying that is you accidentally spoiled because we were talking about our death thing that we're gonna do.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, I really don't think Mercury or Tyrion are gonna be in it, or are gonna be the ones that die. And I hadn't seen the episode yet, and I was like, what? Do they just fucking leave for Vacuo?
Yeah.
And then they did that, and I was like, I didn't think that was really going to.
Fucking hell. Now, speaking of Penny, we were thinking now that we're at the mid-season break, we should do a death pool.
Yes.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we talked about it a bit. If you listen to the bonus cast last time, we're gonna place our bets. You have 100 ships. You gotta bet on who you think is gonna die. Somebody better fucking die. Eddie tweeted. He was like, "This first half of the season was the what was it? Was the gentle one or whatever."
Oh god.
Yeah, he's like, just so you know, this was the tame half. Shut the fuck up, Eddie.
Oscar's gonna get so much.
I was gonna say Oscar's swinging around as the tame half. Okay.
It's all Oscar based though. Like nothing else bad happens to anyone else. It's all on Oscar.
It's time for the eyeball scoop in the second half.
And Hazel's like, I don't even need information from you anymore. I just kind of feel like it.
Right. So who wants to go first?
I got 30 points each on Ironwood and Pietro. Obviously, Ironwood better fucking die. If he lives and learns the error of his ways, I'm gonna flip the fuck out. So please. And Pietro is just a walking death flag. Penny's so fucked up. Someone has to shove some aura in there to make her feel all good again. It's gonna be Pietro. He's gonna die.
Yeah.
I got 10 points on Winter. Now I don't know, because now it seems like they're gonna make all the Aesops flip,
Yeah.
because they've all had this big moment of like, oh man, maybe we should be more in touch with our emotions.
That'll stop us from being fascists.
You saw you saw him shoot a man in the head for no reason. I hate you. I hate all of you. So yeah, Winter die. I put 10 points on Emerald just because Emerald has nothing to do and no reason to exist. She might as well die. And then I put my remaining 5 points each on Vine, which is just like wishful thinking because I hate him and I hate that the show doesn't know what the fuck to do with him. And so maybe he'll die to make Elm feel feelings or whatever the fuck. And I put 5 on Hazel because I would also just like him to die in general.
I did like in that scene where we saw their emotions, Vine was calm. Like, he's just not affected by anything that's going on here. I was like,
Well, we
that's good
don't
to
know what green means, and Ren doesn't comment on it, so it's just like, well, nothing interesting about you. He's nothing, and even Ren's like, I don't have anything to say about your emotions. There's nothing there.
Yeah, you were a nothing character at all. I don't know what to do.
So, how you doing?
Okay, so similar to you, I've got 20 on Ironwood and 20 on Pietro for pretty much the same reasons. Ironwood needs to die. Pietro really seems like he's going to die.
Yeah.
I've got another 20 each on Emerald and Cinder.
Oh ho ho!
I think there's a decent chance one of them dies. Either Emerald dies, and that spurs Cinder to flip, or Cinder dies, and that pushes Emerald even further to flip. One of them dies so the other can flip, I think.
Yeah, I would be very surprised if Cinder dies. Like I can see it as a setup, but they love her so much and think she's so cool.
I think like part of it for me is like, as much as like it doesn't make sense for someone they've invested this much time into, there's something about the character getting their suffery backstory right before this that makes me think they're about to do it.
Yeah, that is very anime. That's very Naruto.
Yeah. Or what was the other show you watched?
Raising Project, yeah, where they kept showing, this is the character that's gonna die because you just saw their backstory.
Yeah. I've got another 10 on Crow. This could be the way Ironwood dies. Is Crow like, he grabs him and they both jump off a thing together?
I'd accept that.
Yeah, in revenge, that's totally not gay.
And he forgets that he can turn to a bird right until the end.
Oh my god!
That would be great.
That would be hysterical, yes.
Yeah.
Or maybe they pull a fake out, like they make you think he dies, but then he flies away, and you're like, all right.
Oh,
Yeah, they're like looking over the cliff and they're like, Uncle Crow, and he's like, I could turn into a bird, and they're like, oh yeah.
or they think he dies, and then that's the stinger is you see a bird flying away.
What could it mean?
And then he flies to Tao Yang's place for a booty call as well. And Tang's
Oh
like,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
God, I can't believe that was the stinger of last volume. And then we see Tai Yang again. And he's just like, yeah, I'm just still at home. I mean, we probably just fucked.
Yeah, we didn't see Raven in that montage of the phone call, did we?
We did not.
No, she's busy. She's busy assembling those Avengers.
Now,
She's got Oobleck and Poor with her.
Oh no.
now, my last 10, I'm going to take a punt, and I'm putting on Yang.
Whoa. Whoa.
I don't think they're going to kill any of J&R because they're just not important enough. I would also doubt they would kill any of Team RWBY, but if they were going to kill one of them, I think it would be Yang. I think Yang is like the one who's going to eat it this season just from the weird way she's been behaving and her lack of relevance to the plot and how they haven't really had anything to do with her for a long time.
I could see that.
And also because, like, I don't think they understand the concept of not burying gay characters.
Oh yeah, that's right.
They think it's cool and tragic, and I wouldn't be surprised if they just did it.
Yeah. Blake will be like, I wasn't judging you, Yang, and Yang will be like, I'm so happy. Bleh.
Yeah.
Yang will be like, the truth is, I love you, Blake, and then dies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we got it, but did we? Did we really?
When we went on that date, it was gay.
Yeah. I think there's a unfortunately realistic chance of that. The other ones I had on my list were like, I think we talked about Willow. Willow might die off screen
Oh god.
of an alcohol overdose or something.
Yeah.
Penny, obviously a reasonable chance if Pietro lives and Penny dies, that would be pretty funny, but yeah. Fiona, just because that'd be super moe. And May, I reckon they might do that too. As much as they shouldn't.
Oh god.
As much as that'd be a terrible thing to do.
Hopefully someone told him.
Not to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for Yang to die and then Adam to return and be like, so Blake, I see.
Looks like you're open.
What are you up to, Blake?
And then she gets to vacuum and she's like so sad, but Son's trying to be sympathetic, but he's like, maybe you could get back in there though.
Here's my chance. I heard you like blondes. What's up?
I heard you like blonde people whose name means son.
Oh shit, you're right.
There's the same.
Oh no.
That's one of Dashing's ships she draws occasionally is Yang and Sun, and it's like, yeah, it makes total sense. They're the same character.
They are.
Yeah, they're the same fucking person.
Yeah.
He's got a type.
Just quickly, who the Hound is definitely like, it's a huge ongoing theory in the RWBY
Really?
I
fandom.
don't think he's anyone.
Yeah, I think he's just a Grim. I don't know.
Yeah, there are still a lot of people going like, guys, I think he's just a Grim. But like one of the other ones is that it's Adam.
What?
Yes.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Because why not?
Okay.
Because he's a hunter.
Yeah, that would be such a good twist because they'd be like, oh. And then we'd be like, okay.
I would love to just like see all this smoke and you're like, who is that? And you hear like, hello again, Blake. And you're like, oh.
No, it has to be, hello, darling.
The other thing I was thinking about, like, because because the Hound and Cinder are going off to get Penny, and if we have this fight with RWBY and Cinder, like we established last season that Cinder has to run from RWBY straight away because
Is that Woody?
yeah, that's what he's barking at nothing.
That Woody.
Yeah, Cinder has to run from RWBY straight away because of the silver eyes.
Yeah, Ruby has the eyes of go away.
What if like the reason the Hound is going is because the Hound is immune to silver eyes because the Hound has silver eyes because it's
No.
You thought it was stupid if I was somewhere, but there was a specific reason. Ha ha. Woof, 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 woof.
yeah. Okay, anyway, sorry. Corinth.
I love him.
Okay.
Right.
I'm just gonna put 50 on Ironwood because
Oh yeah, safe bet.
I think he's kind of done. I think we're done with him.
Yeah, it'll be fucking wild if he lives.
they try to pull some shit. You know, they're trying to be like, oh, he has a character, and then like the minute he shot that guy, it was like, all right, we're done here.
Look, apparently that's not that big of a deal breaker as you'd think it would be.
I put 20 on Penny. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Why not?
Could happen again. Hey, we are doing volume 3 again. Why
Yeah,
not?
Why not?
It would be
Why not?
wild if they just kill her again.
Yeah.
And like the only reason they had that thing with Pietro was to establish that she can't come back this time. Like,
Yeah, you know what? Why not?
yeah.
And then I put 10 on Pietro because you got a good point. He does seem very Death Flag-y.
Yeah.
Yeah. So either of them. I put more on Penny though, just because I don't know. You see her in the opening and she's hacked and stuff, and it's like maybe dead.
Yeah.
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 Maybe. I put 10 on Crow because I just want him to be dead.
God, remember in Volume 4 when you were so sad at the idea that he might die, and now we're all just like, please kill him, put him out of his misery.
Now I'm like, please just let it be over. Yeah. Like, I'm pretty sure the fans don't give a shit about him anymore either because he's like a different voice actor, whatever the fuck, but he's also just terrible now, and I don't care anymore.
I'm here to deal with the darkness.
Oh my God.
It's such a turnaround because we were like, when we thought they were shipping him with Clover last season, we were like, oh, he finally gets something nice happens to him.
Yeah, we were having such a good time.
Yeah, and then now it's like, oh, now he's just Shadow the Hedgehog, and it's like, well, okay.
I still can't handle the, like, he'll just die like everyone else or whatever. We don't know anyone who's died because of Crow's semblance or, like, who's died around him. The
Yeah.
only person we know who's died is Summer, who died, like, completely in a different place.
Yeah.
What is he talking about?
They never show us anything. All we see is like the plank almost hitting Ruby that one time.
Yeah, I'm a curse. This is so sad. Alexa, play Bad Luck Charm.
Because so far it seems the extent of his bad luck is just a plank almost hitting you as opposed to like actually murdering someone and making him, I don't know.
No, yeah.
No,
it's-
yeah.
I don't know.
He seems to be blaming bad life choices on his semblance.
Yeah, it's always it's a thing they always do with this character development where it's like we sort of get at some point they'll quickly tell us something about them, but we never get to they never show us anything. We never made to like feel anything about them like that. All that stuff with Clover was like the most we'd seen Crow talk about himself with fucking anyone. That's why it seems like a big deal.
Yeah, and then he's like, he's the only person I thought I could be around. And it's like, you were hanging out with all these people for like several seasons. I don't... What are you fucking talking about?
It's another bro, though. Another old pro bro that he can hang around with and shoot the shit. And be like these kids these days, am I right?
Oh, it's just so chill to have a fucking bro. It's a brewskis.
I've been walking around with like 8 girls. I can't do this anymore.
It's fucking clam bake.
2 bros hanging out in a van.
God damn. That van scene. Gay.
Did you have anyone else call?
Yes, I have 5 on Cinder and then 5 on Oscar, because why not?
There's more put him out of his misery votes.
Because I feel like they would do that. Like, they want to add that extra... I mean, if he said the first half is the tame half, what better to kick up a notch than to murder the one that they've been slapping around all the time? Be like, wow, what a tragic thing that happened to this man, to this poor boy.
Yeah. What is woobier than to die?
What a shame. And then Ozma reincarnates into some random guy who's like 500 miles away. It's
Yeah.
like...
Hell yeah.
Or he finally ends up in Jawn like it felt like he was supposed to.
Yeah. He got lost for a bit, but it turns out his secret name is Ozjon.
John.
That's why his family never let him train to become a proper hunter, because they knew that this would be
That
his
one
destiny
day,
if he were
yes.
to learn.
Oh.
Well, we made you talk about RWBY for 2 hours. Haha.
Wow. I can't believe it.
If anyone else wants to enter the death pool, just add us on Twitter or chuck it in the Discord.
Or leave it on as a comment on YouTube.
Yeah, those two.
Someone already left it as a comment on the last video, and that's an excellent idea.
Yeah. Thanks, Cor. Thanks for coming into this shameful place and talking about this terrible show.
No
Thank you
problem.
for coming to our trash pile.
It was fun. I did my best to remember things since I'm not an expert, and
If you remember, the more you remember, the more it hurts.
yeah, I'll just remain blissfully ignorant to the actual plot and just keep looking at Oscar's weird nose to keep me afloat.
That's the greatest gift of all.
As he swings around on his meat hook.
Yeah, because this is the season break.
Yeah, when's the next episode happening?
It's not for another 6 weeks, I think, like a month and a half.
Wow. All
Yes, February something. I assume, there's got to be a lot of big battle scenes and stuff, I would hope. So I understand why they need the break now.
I don't know, man. I feel like everything's been getting so rickety that they might just need it to catch up.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It hadn't been looking good for most of this season, really.
Nope.
More so than
Yeah,
usual.
hang in there, everybody. I can't wait to see the wormy boys slaughter everyone in the sewers or whatever the fuck, and we're just like, oh no.
It will be kind of funny if Atlas is destroyed.
Oh my god.
Because it's just, I know they're going to think it's an escalation, but, like you said, season 3, this isn't an escalation.
Yeah, it's just, who cares? They're all horrible, oppressive people.
Yeah.
If that were to happen, they would all like, what? They would like quit their job. Like we did it, guys.
Yeah.
We're getting really good at it.
Because the other thing is that it would also be Team Ruby's fault.
Yep.
That's why I don't think they'll let Atlas die, because they keep stressing the importance of all lives matter, and so they gotta save Atlas. It's so important.
You're probably right.
Trust love.
Unless, like, we're going to find out one of the relics lets them undo everything. Like...
Wow. I would be really mad. I would be so
We know
mad.
the Relic of Creation can create abstract concepts, so I bet it can create a fucking time loop or some shit.
Yeah.
Why not?
They get no consequences for their actions. They could just fix it. Be like, goodness, like it never happened. We did
Like,
it,
even
guys.
that doesn't feel like such an escalation to me, because, like, the fucking Leviathan thing was so bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that still didn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah. Bad show.
Bad show.
I'll miss it, though.
Yeah. We'll talk about some other non-Ruby things in the break. We got to watch Review Starlight, and I got to watch Jupiter Ascending.
Guess.
Cool. You want to plug your stuff again?
Oh, yes. My Twitter is at Hey It's Corinth, and I have an Instagram. It's corinth.draws. I have a webcomic called Crisis 02.
Pew, 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 pew.
Yes.
You especially have to go to Twitter, because she's been drawing some very important Ruby fan art.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep drawing some because it's fun.
Hell yeah.
The Rubes.
I'll miss you, the Rubes, but it's time to go into my Ruby hibernation. Don't worry, I'll still be thinking about it nonstop.
All right. Thanks for coming on, Cool.
No problem.
We'll talk to you guys later.
Happily ever and ever after again.